Hi, third graders. I'm back with our next lesson. For this week, we're going to be doing Module 4, Lesson 3, and it starts on page 91. And it is understand the associative property of multiplication. So the last time we did the distributive property on the last lesson, and this lesson is all about the associative property of multiplication. So when you are done, you're going to be able to multiply 3 factors by using the associative and commutative properties of multiplication. So we're going to be using the associative and the commutative. So let's figure out what those mean. So each week, Corey works in a vegetable garden for 2 hours on each of 3 days. He works for 2 weeks. How many hours does Corey work in 2 weeks? Show more than one way to find the number of hours. So first reading that problem, it sounds a little confusing to me. So let's go back and reread it and let's see if we can figure this out. Let's digest this. So each week Corey works in a vegetable garden for 2 hours. So he's going to work each week for 2 hours on each of 3 days. So for 3 days, he's going to work 2 hours each day. And then he does this for 2 weeks. So he does this schedule 2 times. So he's going to do 2 hours, 3 days in 1 week, and then 2 hours for each of 3 days on another week. So let's see if we can figure this out. So I know that Corey, for week 1, is going to work 2 hours each day for 3 days, right? So day 1 he works 2 hours, day 2 he works 2 hours, day 3 he works 2 hours. So this could be day 1, day 2, day 3. Each day he works for 2 hours. So this is 3 2s. So couldn't I multiply 3 times 2 to figure out how many hours he works in 1 week? So if I do 3 times 2, so 2, 4, 6, he works 6 hours in week 1. Okay? He does the same thing in week 2, right? It says he works like this for 2 weeks, 2 hours on each of 3 days. Day 1, he does 2, day 2 he does 2, day 3 he does 2. He's going to do the same thing in week 2. So he's going to do this same multiplication equation. 3 times 2 equals 6 hours. So how many total hours does he work? Well, I'm going to take my 6 plus my 6, and he works 12 hours. So that's one way that we could solve the problem. Another way we could solve the problem is we could say that he works 2 times 3, or 3 times 2, 2 times, right? He works 2 times 3, 2 hours each day for 3 days, twice, 2 times. And then, how do I figure this out? Well, first, I'm going to multiply my 2 times my 3. 2 times my 3 equals 6. Then I'm going to multiply it by my 2. 6 times my 2 equals 12, right? 2 times 3, 2, 4, 6. And then 6 times 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 hours. So there are 2 different ways that I could solve this problem. All right, so let's look over here for number 1. So we're going to build some understanding. So each week, Lila is raking leaves. And she rakes leaves for 3 hours on each of 2 days. She has raked leaves for 4 weeks. How many hours has Lila raked leaves in 4 weeks? So each week, Lila rakes leaves for 3 hours on each of 2 days. So 3 hours and then 3 hours. And then she does this every week for 4 weeks. So how could we use an array to help us solve this problem? Well, our problem is she's going to do 4 weeks of 2 times 3, right? 4 weeks of 2 times 3. So we can see here we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we've got our 2 times our 3, but we need how many of them? Right now I only have 1, 2, 3. I need 4. So I need to draw one more group of 6, right? One more group of 6, because I know that 2 times 3 equals 2, 4 equals 6. So this 2 times 3 is going to go in here. 2 times 3 equals 6. 4 times 6. So each one of these is a group of 6. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So this would be 6, 12, 18, 24. So 4 times 6 equals 24. So how could we change the grouping of factors using parentheses? So we saw that the parentheses were on the 2 times the 3. Could we change the parentheses and put them on the 4 times the 2? Could we do that, and would we get the same answer? Let's see. Now we need 3 groups, so I only have 2 right now, of 4 times 2. Right now I have 1 group of 4 times 2, 2 groups of 4 times 2, and I need to make a 3rd group of 4 times 2. Four times 2. How much is in this first group? I have 4, 8, right? There are 8 in that group. So I have 8 in this group. 8 plus 8 is 16. And then 16 plus 8, 24. So 8 times 3 equals 24. Did I get the same answer? I sure did. So Lila raked for 24 hours. So what this tells me is the associative property of multiplication states that when the grouping of factors is changed, the product remains the same. That it doesn't matter what order you multiply these in. If you multiply these 2 first or you multiply these 2 first, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get the same answer. So for example, 5 times 2 equals 10, and 10 times 4 equals 40. 2 times 4 equals 8. 8 times 5 equals 40. And you always do what's inside the parentheses first, and then you take, after you multiply what's inside the parentheses, you multiply what's outside the parentheses. Okay? So let's try this strategy with this next problem. So for 5 days each week, Paola helps paint rooms for 4 hours each day. She helps paint rooms for 2 weeks. For how many hours does Paola help paint in 2 weeks? You can change the grouping or the order of factors. The product is the same. Complete the equations to show changing the grouping and the order of factors. So we've got 5 days. We have 5 days each week, 4 hours each day, and she does this for 2 weeks. So 5 times 4 times 2. So for this first one, we have the parentheses on the 5 times 4. And the second one, we have the parentheses on the 4 times 2. So let's look at this one. We're going to do this one first, the associative property. So 4 times 2 equals 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 times 2 equals 8. Now I can take, after I multiply what's inside my parentheses, now I'm going to multiply it by what's outside my parentheses. Now I'm going to take my answer from 4 times 2 and I'm going to now multiply it by my 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So 5 times 8 equals 40 hours. She spent 40 hours painting. Let's see if that changes our problem down here. Now we switched and now we're going to be multiplying up here. We're going to be multiplying what's inside these parentheses. 5 times 2, 5, 10. Now I need to multiply it by what's on the outside. 10 times 4. 10 times 4 is 40. Remember we talked about multiplying by 10? We add our 0 to the end. We do 10, 20, 30, 40, right? 10, 20, 30, 40. 4 tens is 40. And notice our hours are the same. It didn't matter the order, but you've got to make sure you multiply what's inside the parentheses first and then take that answer and multiply it by what's on outside of the parentheses. Okay? Okay. Check for understanding. For 4 days each week, Jed helps build a fence for 3 hours each day. He works on the fence for 2 weeks. For how many hours does Jed work in 2 weeks? Well, what would our multiplication equation look like? We could write it for 4 days each week. He builds a fence for 3 hours each day, right? And how many hours does he work in 2 weeks? And then we can decide where we want to put our parentheses. Where do we want to put our parentheses? How about we put our parentheses here in the beginning, in the front part? We'll put it with the first 2 numbers. But we could have put it at 3 times 2, right? But we're going to start with 4 times 3. So we have 4, 8, 12, right? 4, 8, 12. 4 times 3 is 12. And then we're going to do our 12 times our 2. So we have 2 12s. How much are 2 12s? I'm basically saying what is 12 plus 12? 2 12s equals 24. So he works for 24 hours. Alrighty. On your own. Notice I crossed off number 7. We're not going to do that one. So I'll shorten it up a little bit for you. All right, number 2, we're on your own. You can do this either with me or you can pause the video, do it independently, and then come back. Okay, your choice. Alrighty, on each day of her pottery class, Jayla makes 6 bowls in the morning and 6 bowls in the afternoon. She has made bowls for 3 days. Draw an array to make a visual model, write an equation for the arrays, then show another way to group the factors and solve. All right, so we've got 3 steps we need to do for this problem. First of all, we need to draw an array. Well, we know that she makes bowls for 3 days. She did 6 bowls in the morning and 6 bowls in the afternoon. So I know my rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So she's got 6 bowls in the morning, and how many in the afternoon? 6 bowls in the afternoon. Okay, this is our morning, this is our afternoon. She did 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon. That's just day 1. Now we need day 2. She did the same thing. 6 bowls in the morning, 6 bowls in the afternoon. And day 3, 6 bowls in the morning, 6 bowls in the afternoon. So in this problem, how many rows do we have? Because we have a morning and an afternoon, we have 2 rows, and then there are 6 in each row. So 2 times 6, and then there are how many days? Times 3 days. Okay? 2 times 6 times 3 days. Or I could reorder these so that way my numbers come up to something that's going to be easier for me to solve. So I'm actually going to put my 2 and my 3 together times my 6. Okay? My 2 and my 3 times my 6. So I could put it in that order, or I could put my 6 first, or I could put my 3 first, right? I can move these all around. So I'm going to put my parentheses here around my 2 and my 3. 2 times 3 equals 6. And I'm going to be multiplying that by 6. 6 times 6 is, well, if I count my bowls, right, I've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. So I have 36 bowls is how many she has made. She made a lot of bowls, didn't she? In 3 days. She was busy. All right, we are going to show another way to group these factors and then find the product, meaning we're going to solve. Find the product just means find the answer, solve the problem. So if I have this written 2 times 5 times 6 and my parentheses are around the 5 and the 6, I could just put my parentheses around the 2 times the 5 and then multiply it all by the 6. So 2 times 5, 10. And then I'm going to be doing 10 times 6. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So our answer is 60. So this one, I've got 8 times 2 times 3. So this time, I'll put the parentheses around the 2 times the 3. 2 times 3 equals 2, 4, 6. And then 6 times 8. So we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. Wow, we had to go up pretty high, right? 48. All right. For this one, we need to write the unknown number. So we can see that we have 3 times 6 times 2 is the same as 6 times 2 times what number are we missing? We have the 3 is the one we're missing. And we don't have to solve these. We're just going to find the unknown number. 7 times 2 times 3 equals 7 times blank times 2. What digit are we missing? We're missing the 3. All right. So you are going to do Module 4, Lesson 3, so 4.3, the black and white worksheet to do independently. And then I need you to send me either a picture of the front and the back or to bring it into me to school by the end of this week. All right, guys, I have one more lesson I'll be doing for you. So we're going to do 3 this week because I've fallen behind just a touch and I want to get us caught up. I want to get us closer to what the other 3rd grade, what the kids in school are, where they are. Okay, so we're going to try to get ourselves caught up. All right, I hope you have a great rest of your day and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.